So I just have a few slides to kind of just tell you a little bit about some of the things that we did. So our objective was to look at really understanding use and curation of archaeological collections in museums, archives, and libraries, and also any other repositories, how they act in society, how people access them, how people can really utilize them. And can we say something about that that may sort of like push the state of the art forward? So what we did first early on was in April 2018 in Dublin, we had a workshop about managing small archaeological collections. And at the initial meeting where we sort of planned this, which was in Portugal in 2017, if I remember correctly, was that we sort of thought that a lot of the time when people are managing these collections, they're quite small and maybe not centralized. So we wanted to focus on really looking at this issue of these small collections. And we used sort of a comparative kind of case study method. We had speakers talk about managing different collections in different contexts, but they were all small, and kind of looking at the ways that people had done this, what worked for them and what advice they had to offer. We also heard from the director of the Little Museum of Dublin, and she spoke about her experiences as a guest speaker. So that was great. And then we had a training school in Sarajevo in September of 2018. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend this, but it was a great experience. We had students from several different countries to really look at this management issue and how they can maybe it impacts their research going forward, and different kind of strategies, again, to manage these collections. And as far as our outputs, you'll hear some of those outputs today. So my MSc student, Anna Leary, is going to tell you a little bit about her master's thesis about where she did a survey. And many of you might have responded to that. But this was looking at different factors that influenced these archaeological collections, most often in museums, but particularly how people access these collections. Because when Anna was working on this, we talked a lot about how a lot of times these collections, they're not really hidden, but they're hard to find because maybe they're not always the most discoverable for whatever reason. So the other kind of remit or output that this working group was charged with was this white paper policy brief on approaches and perspectives to the study of the archaeological practices in relation to collections. And that is something that we are hoping to discuss at the working group